Hello and welcome to another Daily Muppet covering the latest news. Been off on a long holiday here. We have a July 4th here in the US, obviously, as our Independence Day. But yeah, the biggest news obviously of today is that Tyrell Malacia was announced, the young fullback from Feyenoord, who likely will be the replacement for Alex Telles and hopefully will be pushing Luke Shaw for a starting spot at left back in the near future. This is the first signing of the year. I'm happy to see this one. He's a very, very good player. Player that Ten Hag wanted at Ajax before that he did not get. And I really like Luke Shaw, but his form wanes from time to time, and most of that's down to fitness. He's struggled pretty regularly, off and on, since obviously his his bad leg injury, and he even had the pins removed last year. So he still struggles to play through a whole season at a top level, and some competent rotation, a good young player who has a chance to develop into something more under Ten Hag is a big help. So I'm very happy with this signing. It's a smart one. I think it'll have a big effect. I think is a huge weakness of United's last season. A huge weakness of United's last season was the fullback rotation. And even a few years past, we had a huge fall off when Luke Shaw got injured and Brandon Williams was on towards the end of a season. So I think it makes a big difference. I'm also happy about this because I've been going on about United buying him for weeks, that United were very interested, that they were still looking at him, that they still wanted to do it. Last week, a week ago in video, I said be a decisive week for that. And they went ahead and pulled the deal off at the 11th hour, making an offer, getting it done for 15 million euros. And a great signing, great signing. So I'm really happy to see that. A real nice kid, excited to see some new blood in the team. Even though it's just a small signing, that's where things start. So we've got a lot to discuss here. Firstly, I want to get into the Ronaldo drama. The reports have been coming out that Ronaldo wants to leave, that he's been asked United to accept a good offer, that Chelsea are weighing up a bid, and all of this is true. Ronaldo would go to Chelsea. Chelsea are interested in making an offer, and he wants to go. He wants to leave United right now. Where things kind of stand is that United are somewhat willing to let him go. It's up to him. Nobody knows exactly what he really wants or what he's doing. But, Murtaugh and some others have not been a huge fan of some of the actions that he's taken. And I'm just passing the news on this. And I know that a lot of people will say, he's raising the standards, this and that. But this is Ronaldo. And I think that's a bit of a naive statement. Trying to claim Ronaldo to be something he isn't. He asked to leave United under Sir Alex Ferguson after winning the Ballon d'Or when we were winning everything. He didn't ask to leave because of raising standards and because of this and that. This is just what Ronaldo does. He makes decisions about his career and he goes on. Now, yes, does he want to leave? Probably because United are not in the Champions League? For sure. Absolutely. But he knew that when he joined. He signed on for 2 years. And I know that things were a bit different last summer and the look was a bit different. But, he's gone AWOL multiple times now. He's thrown fits about not playing, about not starting, even though he doesn't really have the fitness for it. And it's fine. He obviously has contributed a lot in terms of goals, and it's not about that. But the problem is United at present are not a good fit for Ronaldo, either way. And when you're trying to run a rebuild and build around Ten Hag and put a certain style of play in and really do a real correct rebuild under a new manager, you don't want a star making noise, making demands, who needs to be catered to. You just don't. Ronaldo is a player that, if things were that just doesn't really fit where United is at right now and what they need. You don't need someone trying to run the show. You don't need them undermining certain decisions and things like that. And so I think that's how they feel. That's how United feel about it. And the problem is they don't have another striker lined up. So, Erik Ten Hag will still try and get him to stay and commit and just be part of the team this year, if he ever shows up at Carrington or on tour, of course. which I'm sure he will. But it is family reasons, he said. But obviously, everyone's a bit suspect given the current reports and timings and, you know, checking in at the Portugal national team camp. You know, so there's a lot going on with this. It's a very complex situation. I was very excited about Ronaldo coming back. I don't think I've said before, I don't think he's the problem at United, but I do think it is a problem. And I've been advocating signing a top striker for months now because I could see this type of thing coming, and that we need to be, you know, United as a club should be acting as if Ronaldo isn't there. He's 37, he could leave at any time, and he won't be here in the future, so they need a striker. If he does go, they could certainly look to a striker, but there's no main name on the list. There hasn't been one after Nkunku has re-signed and Darwin Nunez fell through. So perhaps not a striker, but a different kind of forward could be brought in. I wouldn't be surprised to see United play a bit how City and Liverpool have the last few years. You know, if anyone can do that or has done that, it would be Erik ten Hag with Bruno or Van de Beek at kind of that almost false nine position. Rashford could play through the middle at times. It's been discussed. But it's a messy situation if you think about it, because you go from wanting Darwin Nunez, an out-and-out physical number 9 with Ronaldo, to having no strikers. And clearly that's not what Ten Hag wanted. That was not his vision for the team. And so it's a bit of a mess. So there's a lot of story to run on this whole situation, and it's going to be a while before it's fully resolved. And on top of what actually comes afterwards if Ronaldo does in fact leave. So moving on from Ronaldo, Christian Eriksen, as I mentioned in the last video last week, Brentford thought he was going elsewhere. He officially informed United this Monday that he would be joining United and had chosen them. Maybe I had my Mondays wrong. As we said, he would be talking to Ten Hag and giving the decision on Monday. I thought it was last Monday. But he may have just asked for an extra week before giving his official decision. He did not communicate it officially to anybody before this week, as far as I understand. But United were confident. I said in the last video they have everything. They had everything lined up. Paperwork, contracts, everything is there. United's financial package was better than anyone's. It should be around $10 million a year for year 1, $10 million for year 2, and a good bonus. And our information is that, I put this on Twitter yesterday, is that a medical is expected on Wednesday, and the announcement would then be later on Wednesday or likely on Thursday with how United tend to do things, before the club jet off on Friday. So you're probably going to see Malacia and Eriksen at minimum on tour. And I'm incredibly happy that he is signing Christian Eriksen. I think I was saying about, you know, about signing him, and if Ronaldo goes, this is good because it gives some flexibility in formation, attack, and the way you set things up. You could play him in a 3 with Bruno in that false 9 position, or Van de Beek. He can play out wide. He can play as a 10, and he's way, way better than anything that United have in terms of a set piece taker, corner kicks, free kicks, all of that from any of our options. He's miles ahead. And so I think it's an upgrade in so many ways, and I think he's going to play a lot, actually, especially with this whole striker situation. Having him as an extra forward is a huge, huge deal, and can help really kind of bring some balance, technical ability, and work rate to the midfield. There's he does a lot, and I think that's going to make a difference for United. The next player I want to discuss is Lisandro Martinez. The situation with Lisandro Martinez, my understanding of it is that United have had a lot of direct dialogue with his representatives. They're in talks with Ajax and are very, very close on a fee. Arsenal are seemingly still involved in potentially trying to play spoiler, get that price driven up after they missed on a few targets. It's stated that he hasn't decided between the two clubs, but I think it's pretty clear that given an even choice, Manchester United would be more attractive with Erik ten Hag there than Arsenal. So Martinez is ready to join quickly. He has told Ajax he's ready to go to England. He wants to move. He wants to go, and has asked them to agree a fee and get him his move. So he would be on the plane in a matter of hours if a fee is agreed, and it is not done yet. But United do intend to try and wrap this up today, and from what I understand, they also intend to try and get him in on Wednesday, or at the latest Thursday, so he can come with on the tour. They were only around €5 million apart, but I think a little more upfront would probably do it as of the last discussion. So I still expect this one to happen. But this is one that will also and should also move today or tomorrow if it's going to be happening, and you'll see a lot of stuff on that. So I'll try to update as quickly as I can as information comes to me as well. So, that's what's happening on Martinez, which would make a third signing, player who will cover at center back, potentially covering the midfield, somebody who knows Ten Hag's system and would be familiar with all of it. Moving on from that to the player that I know a lot of people want the news on, have been asking and are wondering what is going on, which is, of course, Frenkie de Jong. As I said a week ago, the deal is all but done, and as far as I can tell, I will still stand by this. I'm a little perplexed myself on it, obviously, as to why things haven't moved in the last week. Samuel Luckhurst says it's agreed. He was the first to report on the imminent, increased bid before the reports broke. So he seems to have a line on this deal, and he says it's all agreed in principle. Jamie Jackson has said it's all agreed, and they were discussing personal terms last week. Today, Melissa Reddy says it's been agreed as well from Sky Sports. Then there's plenty of reporters saying they're still discussing add-ons, but again, I'm not sure that this is the case. I don't really buy that. The club have known what the cost would be, what the fees would be, and what it would take for weeks now. And they briefed and had said and directly stated that they had a broad agreement last weekend, about 8-9 days ago now. So as discussed as well, they've moved on. They've started buying players left and right. Malacia purchased, offer $45 million for Martinez. They've offered contracts and are getting Eriksen signed. That indicates they know the exact cost budget that they have and what's available to them. So the simple question is, what is actually going on? You had Laporta comments on Saturday. I reached out to everyone I can and that I could think of, and asked a lot of different people. And I'm not talking about ITK type of people. I've asked a lot of people around elsewhere, and that would be connected up to the club, people with names, not anonymous, but people who would know, and the answer was constantly, nothing has changed. After Laporta comments, nothing has changed. Club are still confident, club are still expecting him, club still want him on before to join on the tour. So they still expected him this week, wanted him on tour, that was still the line. There's been no new information that's put out from the club, but it looks like, of course, that things haven't moved in a week, so it feels like it's not going to happen. Maybe not saying not going to happen in the end, but not going to happen this week, not going to happen for the tour. You're not seeing it in the articles. You're seeing about Eriksen, you're seeing about Martinez, you're seeing about Malacia, but in talks with Barcelona over de Jong. So it's tricky, but de Jong has just returned to Europe. He was in Amsterdam yesterday, today. He was due back in Barcelona on Wednesday. So the question is, if it's moving and nothing's happening, why? All these stories have come out, and the fact is it's just all recycled. You got a ton of stories that have started in Spain, however, about de Jong's huge wages next year for Barcelona, how if he wants to stay, he has to take a massive pay cut. That's been the new kind of narrative, right? They've been activating their levers. It's an incredibly complicated situation with Barcelona, all of it. But remember, Barcelona drove this deal from the beginning. They were the ones pushing to sell. They're the ones pushing Frenkie de Jong out of there. But the narrative has certainly built that if he leaves, it's because he wouldn't take a huge pay cut. And what I can say is all the reporting on the English side, in talks with Barcelona, talks with Barcelona, and they say discussing add-ons or structure or this and that, it's nothing new. It's recycled. It's the same thing they've been saying for a week. There's no major brief. There's no major update, while you have people who say it's already been agreed. So we can kind of only speculate. I think the simple answer is there's no information that's been put out there in about 7 to 8 or 9 days. Some of the rumors now are that are out there that may have some merit are that Barcelona owe him a lot of money in deferred wages, as well as an agent fee and bonus that they have never paid that was agreed under Bartomeu, which would need to be resolved in order to complete the deal, and they may need to activate this next economic lever in order to get the cash to pay off the money that is owed to Frenkie de Jong in order to release him from contract. or structure it somehow into the deal, and it could be a complication. So as of now, there doesn't seem to be anything wrong with the deal. Nobody really knows why it's not moved. Nobody really knows why it's not done yet, which usually means there's something that isn't understandable, as simple as, oh yes, fee is agreed or fee is not agreed. Usually when nothing gets reported and they're saying, oh, it's not all agreed, and that's what's hanging around out there, there's something else going on. But it doesn't appear to be that there's anything wrong. And again, as I've said, there are very good journalists who've been spot on this deal. So you can forget what I'm saying. If I'm wrong on this, I'm wrong. But even forgetting all that, there's very, very good journalists who've been very correct, very ahead on this deal that say the fee and the deal is agreed in principle. And what the holdup is, we do not know. So what I'll say is, given he was expected to be planning and joining up for the tour, if nothing happens in the next day or two, I am positive there will be some news that comes out to clarify the situation somewhere, and I will be looking as well. But for now, there's really nothing else to say until that kind of update comes out. I still expect Frankie de Jong to join. I would hope it would still be this week. If it's next week and he joins up and has to fly out on his own on tour, so be it. But, they're still expecting Frankie de Jong to join, and are still completely and totally confident at United that Frankie de Jong will be a Manchester United player, which implies to me it is effectively agreed. There's just something to sort out, and I don't know what that is. But it could be done now that he's back, or sorted out, or needing him to be back from vacation, and there's just no rush. So that's what we've got. After that, it's all up in the air now, really pending the Ronaldo situation. Outs are starting to be worked on. Tellez, Bailly, Jones, Tuanzebe, these are the players you expect to be looking to move. I think you'll probably see some exploration of potential forward targets, obviously. Maybe not Anthony, but other names, maybe people who can play down the middle. So if I get some updates on that, I will certainly let you know. And again, on Eriksen, look out for Eriksen, as I may get news of the medical, news of the announcement. Martinez, if we get news of the done deal. And then with de Jong, if anything happens this week, we'll certainly be updating as quickly as possible. Okay, but that's what I've got for now. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications on. I'll see you in the next one.